Welcome back to Chasing My Potential, where I help you discover those knowledge gaps massively holding you back. Whether it be them small technical details or decision making, we cover it all, leaving no stone unturned. I got so many messages to do this one. Wow, Nico Williams is what Spain have been missing all these years. They now seem to have found an amazing balance in their team with passing and flair. So follow this analysis of his game versus Italy, clip by clip, to see what makes him so good, how Spain's playing style complements him so much, and for you players and coaches, how you can replicate his game by diving deep into his technique and dribbling IQ. In the first minute, you're already seeing the theme of this game. Switch the ball, give it to Williams. Firstly, for you wingers, as the ball is going to the fullback, look how he doesn't run directly wide. He's running on an angle here. Why? Because now when he receives the ball, he can work his angle of approach better. He now touches the ball down the line to get the defender's momentum going here. And if we were being vague, we would say he does a step over and crosses the ball. But only fine details on this channel. Remember, the skill starts before the skill. Before he does the step over, each touch is coming this way slightly more and more. What does this do to the defender's psychology? The more Nico Williams comes this way, the more he gets a solid angle of approach. Now, the step over mimics a touch inside, which we see ruin the defender's stride. Now, a knock into space and a pinpoint cross. Nearly an assist in the first minute. Not a bad way to start the game. For those who have taken the elite level dribbling guide, make sure when you're watching this analysis, you're taking note of the defender type that he's facing. The first cue you always need to look for. In the third minute, we see this slick dribble, showing his composure in and around the box. The fullback receives it high and wide, and Williams is inside, making the run between the fullback and centre-back. He entices the defender in by slowing down and now stretches to poke the ball around him to then get on the other end. He lets the ball run across his body from the pass. And paused here, the ball looks vulnerable to the defender. As he goes to engage, this is when he does the skill. If the defender stretches his right leg out to tackle, it goes through his legs. Now, again, approaching the ball super composed and a sharp outside chop against the momentum, giving nothing away beforehand. And Spain managed to keep the ball in and around the box. In the 9th minute, he nearly gets a goal himself. Now, this is how you work it long by Spain. Notice how they initially play out. And then this brings Italy onto them. By the time the keeper gets the ball, a press is on. That means there's more space in the middle of the pitch now. Morata controlling the space before he makes contact with the header. As Pedri drives, Williams starting out wide is now making this blindside run. But look what this run does. It brings all three players in. Now the space is out wide. A sharp outside chop first time from Morata, with Williams hanging on the blind side. And the cross couldn't be better. Now, what does he do wrong with the header? For those who've taken the art of goal scoring, you may have already spotted this as we covered it in the heading section. It's not the header itself, but it's his body position. With this type of cross and head, you will see players stand side on, which stops the ball going wide. And if it does, it only just does. His body position means he can turn his head too far this way as he flicks it. And this is exactly what he does. In the 10th minute, a perfect surprise touch. As he's assessing, we have the defender backing off. Now, his angle of approach means he can go both ways, making the defender plan and engage. A cue he's looking for, and he reacts fast, snapping the ball with maximum disguise. Even a small body feint before it. Now, pressure from the outside, he moves it away. And this was a top decision to bring the ball back out simply. 2 chasing defenders here, but another one is here. If he comes out, someone else will be in a huge space if Spain can work the ball, as look at this picture. In the 12th minute, we see the really good dynamic from Spain on that left-hand side. Williams in a 2v1 doesn't need to force it, as he has such an energetic fullback not afraid to do overlaps. Again, dragging 2 players to him who are defending well, keeping the gap nice and tight. Spain aren't too much of an aerial threat, meaning Williams doesn't have the psychological advantage to get this defender to really dive in, even if he did a fake shot. As he cuts the ball back, look how close both defenders are. A simple pass and cross. In the 19th minute, Williams now decides to go through his legs instead, receiving the ball wide, and he knocks it down the line. But what did he do to work this? He's at a walking pace, even looking inside. And then he goes from 0 to 100. Now, how does he set up the nutmeg? We see this little hop. The reason being, he needs to quickly plant his left foot next to the ball as quickly as possible in order to get the right foot around the ball. This is a great shot. Both feet off the ground, making contact with the ball as the defender is about to make a stride. Now, trying to pass here, the defender blocks it off. Another nutmeg is on here. Reading the defender will go to block the pass. You know his legs will be wide open. In the 27th minute, he puts in a deep cross into the box. One thing that makes him more deadly in a 1v1 is that when he has room, sometimes he just puts it into the box. Now, from a defender's psychological point of view, if you know your attacker you're up against will just put the ball in the box, if you give him a little yard, this means you will be more reactive to his skills and baits. As you know, any little yard he gets, he could put a cross in, goal. Now, if I'm running at a defender and I cut inside to put a cross into the box, that defender is now more likely to block that fake cross, meaning I could now go back down the line. If I never put in a cross when I have a little yard of space and I just try and take him on every time, he won't budge or react when I cut inside to put in a cross, as he knows it will just be fake. The managers get angry when they see the fullback's opposition winger putting in many crosses. This is what Williams does really well. He mixes it up. He doesn't always try and beat his man cleanly. Sometimes, okay, I'll just put a simple cross in. For those times when he wants to turn that cross into a fake cross and go back down the line, the defender can never read him. In the 35th minute, showing that flair we all love to see. Initially, winning the header. Now look at this for ball protection. Now, he has so much more time on the ball. He now spins against the defender's momentum. As the ball is moving to the touchline, he's checking his shoulder to see which side the pressure is coming. Another check to see the secondary defender coming over. Into a Zidane roulette to face the defender up. As he's doing it, look at the first defender's momentum, running down the line. Now, in the fundamentals of a successful dribble, we deep dive into how to master a 2v1. In some scenarios, again, from a psychological point of view, the defender thinks that the inside is already covered by this defender. So, they can overcommit, especially if you use the right skill in the right scenario to bait them. As soon as he comes out of the Zidane, immediately touches it against his momentum into space, and the defender now has to bring him down. Just on this point, so far in this video, you've heard the word psychology a lot tied into dribbling. This is a big part of the game. Reading your defender's fear and strategy in any scenario is key. Then you know how to use it to your advantage. And we've mapped every single one out. In the 37th minute, we see this crazy link-up. If he meant this, that's incredible vision and execution. When I watch it, it looks like he's trying to chop the ball inside on the spin. Let me know what you think. It's a really good take from Pedri. Doesn't open up as the defender's pressure is here. He takes it in his stride and then plays a sharp pass between the gap. Williams tries to take it across his body, but the front defender just pokes it away. In the 51st minute, we see that link up again, which should have led to a goal. Spain switch the ball, and the fullback, who has inverted, begins to make this run, with very poor tracking from Italy. But this wouldn't be so easy if Williams wasn't so good at dribbling. As we see, he attracts two defenders again. A simple pass, now a brilliant cutback passing the ball through this line. And he could have actually taken a touch before the shot. This whole clip again shows the electric energy Spain have, something they have lacked in recent years. To have your fullback here in possession shows how brave and confident Spain are on the ball. They push so many players forward, and all of this complements Williams' game. On a side note, this is something England haven't done. I'm seeing a lot of fellow Brits very angry online. And for me, it's simple. They play it so safe. We never see this sort of picture that we just covered. So for England's most dangerous players, it's so much harder for them as they don't have numerical advantage. A lot of the time it's a 2v1, whereas we've seen Cucurella, sometimes inverted, playing like a number 10, number 8, sometimes going on the overlap. There's a lot of nice rotation and they're not scared to push players forward. Meaning now the wide players, the flary players, the defenders they're up against, they're more distracted because there's more movement going on. In the 54th minute, the own goal from Williams' cross. Firstly, what do you notice? The fullback making that same run again, this time dragging away the secondary defender. Now imagine this same scenario with Spain's fullback being in defence. This cross would have been near impossible. I love this playing style so much. Yes, it's more risky, but how much more entertaining is it as well? It allows the flair players to work their magic more. Pause as he's about to cross. Remember what I said before. The defender is more likely to dive in when you've already put in a few crosses. Now, he uses it as bait. A simple knock down the line, and he just squeezes it in. A potential flick from Morata, and then an own goal. And lastly, in the 69th minute, what a clip to finish on. Firstly, look at who's making life easier. Cucurella, running here, dragging the inside defender away again. If he's not here, Williams can't cut inside this easily, as he will have a second defender just waiting there. Now, for those who have taken the art of goal scoring course, look at his hip and standing foot placement in a zone 2 wide far post finish. And there we have it. Firstly, Williams is what Spain have been missing all of these years. They've always had brilliant passes and they did dominate for around 10 years straight. But it did get to the point, the past 5-7 years, that they only had passes, no dribblers, no pace, no flair. It was always their downfall. They ended up becoming too predictable. But now Spain look like they're finding that balance more. I love the pairing as well of both Williams and Cucurella. He makes so many runs in behind, whether inside or around the back of the winger, and it's a nightmare to defend that left side. A big takeaway I want to highlight for you ballers, when you start becoming aware of the dribbling game and how there's patterns to it all, you then may get a little bit giddy and begin to overdo it. Always trying to take somebody on. Take note from Williams, he mixes it up so much. He's an amazing dribbler, he doesn't dribble all the time. Sometimes a simple knock into space and cross, after he's got a little bit of momentum advantage. And then when you want to work the 4 pillars, especially your momentum advantage and bait, it becomes way more easier. Why? Because the defender's now more reactive. One question I've got for you guys, who are you having in your team, Williams or Musiala? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check the link in the description to our website if you're looking to gain the latest knowledge of individual player development. Remember to keep mixing up your game, not being too predictable, and as well as really begin to understand how your teammates can make your life much easier for you. For example, if Williams was playing in England, he wouldn't be having this impact so far. He would have about half the opportunities. But most of all, keep chasing your potential.